Hello humans, Master DinnerFlax here, and today I'm going to be showing you an updated version of the deck I got top on DN with. If you guys don't remember, if you guys didn't see last format very early until for like 2 weeks I was top on DN with BAs, but I didn't play a very conservative or normal version of BA, and a lot of people ask me so many questions like, why do you play this? Why do you play this? And I wanted to go over this video and explain why. This is not what I actually plan to play for BA. This is just how I played it last format, adjusted to the list, because there's going to be a lot of things I'm changing, but I just want to go into it right now. So 3 Scarm, of course, 3 Farfa, Beatrice is broken, 2 Owlich and 2 Calcap because Beatrice is broken, 1 Rubik because Virgil's good, 1 Seer because it's literally Dante and Seer are what makes the deck, 1 Libic just for the extra special summon, 1 Graph, you need it first turn a lot, Barbar for game, and then of course Tour Guide. But not to mention, not just Tour Guides, but because of Beatrice at 1, the deck has lost a lot of threats. I played 1 of these back then, but I think 2 is really good. This is pure BA if you didn't notice. We got 2 Crane. This is just like to act as a sort of second and third tour guide. While it does suck if they do Valor it or Max C it, it's just like you have to deal with it. Like you don't have enough threats in your deck to play. You can't play that many Beatrices, you can't play that many Seers or Graphs, so you have to play something to grab things back now. The Speedroid engine, I used to run 2 Borgs, and when I was top on DN, sometimes I would switch in and out on what Speedroids I would play. Sometimes I wouldn't play them, sometimes I would play like 5. But this is correct, like it really is correct. If you draw a Tectumborg and Desires, a lot of the time you'll just get the Terror Top, but it does suck to draw this one, but, you know, this is just way too powerful to ignore. 3 Rhino, this is probably the most powerful card in your deck. It's like a Squamata in the fact that it just substitute for any BA you want at any time. It's just very good. I tried Cagna, I tried the whatever Dragalig guy. They're not good. They're just not good. Like, I only like if it's at 1, it's because you only need 1. But if it's like these guys, if it's like this or this, they're only good at 1. So like you don't need to play those ones. This is like the perfect lineup for me. 2 Gores. Okay, this is the one I need to explain a lot because back then when I was on DN, a lot of people ask, why the hell are you playing Gores? And I'm going to go over it right now. So, because this was such a heavy monster lineup and so many BAs, you would make Beatrice first turn unless you completely bricked. Then you just made 2 Dantes. That was literally it. So when you make your Beatrice, if you don't open Scolding, what you're going to do against this was for Monarchs mostly, but it was also really good against the mirror match I found. So when you make Beatrice and have nothing else for it, a lot of the time they're just going to Stormforth, which is correct. That's what you do. So when they Stormforth you, you're going to detach a material, send Farfa to banish your own Beatrice, get your BA effects that are under it, and just you're going to sit with a completely open field. They're going to have to pull resources together to try to tribute summon. And if they can't tribute summon, then they end their turn. But if they do tribute summon, it's usually for something that doesn't matter. So when it doesn't matter, like a lot of times it was Erebus putting Dante back in my extra deck or trying to hit something out of my hand. So when they attack for 28, drop Gores, they got a monster that meets theirs, a 27 on board, and then during the end phase you get Beatrice back. And it was incredibly powerful. I've won countless of number of games against Monarchs with BA doing that, regardless of what version of Monarchs. That was my main strategy with Gores, but I also found in the mirror match, it was like who ran out of Farfas first. And a way to burn their Farfas was to drop Gores. It worked very well because they had to remove the token with Farfa and it would get rid of it for good, but they still had something with 25 defense that most of the deck can't run over. And then Beatrice, Dante couldn't run over. They'd have to make Breaksword. And if they weren't playing PK Fire, it was awful for them. But if they were, they had to make Breaksword, which got baited out because I played 3 Max C back when it was at 3, and like 3 Valor. So like it was very hard to resolve anything. So this was really good. I found this to be so helpful. It was just so powerful. In testing, it was one of the best cards in my deck. I think I sided 1 in main 2, but the most I'd ever side out was 1. And I can't tell you how many OTKs this guy has stopped because my opponent didn't want to stop for Max C. This game 1, when I dropped it when they were in the Max C challenge, I would just go to game 2 and they would never play around Max C again. They would just stop. And that's why I played Gores. I hope it kind of helps understand, like, sure, this card's been power crept, but it's more like a momentum shift thing. It doesn't win you any games per se, but it really stops them from doing too much damage to you, and it's just powerful. Like, you wouldn't think of it just in a normal deck, but in here it has been that great. 2 Max C, I'll go into the rest of the deck. 2 Max C because it's not at 3. 2 Valor because 3 Valor was too much, I found. Norlera's, now this is something I also want to explain. So, I believe his name was Jesse Flores. At YCS got top 32 with Skyscourge BA. That's when I started building this deck. At the beginning of the year, first off, at the beginning of the year, I seen Jeremy Barnett, one of the card guys. He built a BA deck that was like 30 monsters and then like a bunch of Solemns. And I thought, this is kind of funny. It was actually a really funny deck profile. But then, in testing, I found Solemn Scolding was probably more powerful than Fire Lake ever was. It was more powerful than Fog Blade. It was actually insane. It was unbelievably powerful because when you're making Beatrice, you only have room for like 1 back row when you're going off well. Because you'd rather have Max C than a trap most of the time. So I was like, you know, if I'm just going to set 1, I might as well just play Scolding. So I fused together their ideas, and that's what kind of jump-started my version of BA. And it was just insane. Like, I got top on DN when I had no business playing a deck like this, because I didn't like BA before this deck. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And BLS, I didn't play him originally, but the reason I'm playing him now is because with 1 Beatrice, you have a lot less threats. So you need to summon something that just puts fear into your opponent or just moves momentum, because you can't, it's not like where you could just sit on 2 Beatrice and if they kill it, you could just summon Pilgrim. You can't do that anymore. You gotta use your Beatrice wisely. You gotta try to play around kaijus. You gotta play around a lot of things now with Beatrice. But BLS, just having that 1 opportunity to OTK, just like really good. For the spells, 3 Desires. I hate this card, but I have to play it in here because it's so, my hands are so clunky sometimes. But Power Desires, I hate the card. It's powerful, but I hate like resolving it and like banishing 10 really good cards and then drawing into 2 crap. Because Power Desires, the way it works in a combo deck is, even if you draw 2 combo cards that go well to the combo, you can actually make those dead cards with Desires, doing nothing else but drawing them, just because they banish 10. So, like, it's just, like, I want to resolve this at the very end of the turn if I can, like, or next turn if I'm going to search Tour Guide. Like, I got to be very careful with this card. Honestly, if I were to if this card was at 2, I would not play it at all. Like, it's not as great as I thought it was in here, but like you have to play it. 3 Twin Twister, your deck abuses this card like way too much, so you can't not play it. This card I played for a while. I took it out, put it back in, took it out. This honestly is better than Desires in the deck, but like at 1, because you can't. It is really hard to resolve, but resolving this can win you the game single-handedly. There's not a lot of cards in the game that just at the end say draw 3 cards. If they say draw 3 cards, they're like, and then you have to, or discard your hand or discard 2 cards. Like, no, just draw 3 cards. And like, you play so many BAs, and you're just sending with Dante and Beatrice all the time. Like, it doesn't take the whole duel to fuel. It could be done in like 2 to 3 turns. Sometimes I have resolved this in the first turn of the duel because I made 3 Dantes, but yeah. And Regeki. There's a lot of solitaire going along right now, so I like just Regeki their shit, and it's fine. And throw the traps, 3 Scolding. Like, I already explained this, but I look at pure BA a lot, and I look at what kind of traps they play, and honestly, there's no wrong way to have a trap lineup in BA. I'm really convinced of that, because I've seen BA that play like a hand control trap lineup, which I think I see Jake Finley do, or like one of the card guides do, and that was really cool. And there was like, I can't remember his name, but he was on Glasgow's channel, and he had like 3 Scoldings, 3 anti-spell, and a warning, and I thought that was also correct, because that was really good. Like, and Karma Cut's really good. Like, there's no wrong way to play the traps, but this is my personal preferred way, because I don't want to draw more than 1 trap ever. Like, even if these were strikes, I'd never want to draw more than 1, because it really wants to get Twin Twistered. If you draw 2 traps, that means you're probably not making Beatrice. You're not doing very much. Like, this card, like, just having 1 trap set that's just negates literally more than Solemn Judgment, like, I don't see why not to play it. Let me go into the extra deck. We got 3 Dante. I don't know why. It's just the best card in the deck. 2 Downard to protect Dante from being shuffled in the deck, to protect Dante from being banished, like all kinds of stuff. Like, you need to resolve Dante with Spirit 1. 1 Beatrice because it's the best card in the deck. 1 F-Zero because it helps mate with the best cards in the deck. 1 Virgil. Pretty good. It's one of those things where people don't play around it very much, and that's where it gets really good. Like, a lot of people don't play around like you can make a Virgil, and that's where I like the most, where you can just punish an overextension, because it's really hard to die in this deck with all these floaters, with these. It's really hard to just die. So when they overextend and you Virgil them, that's really good. Pilgrim just for Beatrice. The Giga Brilliant combo, this is really good. This is so good, I actually changed how my side deck looks, but you'll see that in a moment. Leviair for Barbar, mainly. I don't know, like this, it can, whatever. Quantal, if you have Speedroids, you can make this out. Rivalry. Totem Bird. It's decent. Like, it's decent at best. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's just trash, but it's like a thing you need to, it's like you only make it after you made a field and you draw a Terror Top that you have to normal summon and you haven't drawn Borg. That's where it's good. Otherwise it's not, but sometimes it is just incredibly game impacting. And 1 Breaksword. If I'm gonna play a second, which I might cut this, because Breaksword's really good in here. Because it's like, it's not a BA, but it can clear itself off the field, making BA plays easier. And there's a cute little combo with Rhino Warrior and Breaksword. But yeah, For the side, one more Norellas. I'm probably just not going to play this because you only have one Beatrice. Like, this was really good when you had 3 Beatrice because you could just... It was a win condition against Cosmo, and it could out their own if your opponent's Beatrices without triggering them. But I don't know. It's like, with one Beatrice, it's honestly just not worth it. Maybe 1 is worth it, but not 2. This is a card I was talking about, how it changed my side. Because it's an insect, you can actually use it with Corbage to use its effect more than once. And I thought that was really good. 2 Swift Scarecrow. This is... I don't know if it's that correct, but I thought it was good enough to consider, and I haven't cited it in yet, but there's a lot of OTKs going around. There's just a lot of them, and sometimes Gores is not enough. Like, I could side the 3rd Gores and it wouldn't be enough. Like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I really think about how hard it is to survive OTKs now, so I don't know. 2 system down for ABC's coming out and Cosmo, because Cosmo is still pretty difficult for you, just not as hard. 2 Dark Hole for Solitaire, 2 Firelakes, no idea. I just, like, I guess against Demise it's good, but like, you have to be going first against Demise, and you have to make 2 Dantes instead of 1 Beatrice, which is kind of annoying and not that easy. So I don't know. 3 Solemn Strike and 1 Warning, just in case my Scoldings weren't putting in work. Like, sometimes against Cosmo, it's just better to have these 4 than these 3. But other times when, like, it was against Monarchs last format, this was just all around better. Like, I could put in a warning and just keep these 3 in. But, like, against Cosmo, and some other stuff coming out, like Strike, will just... It won't hit as much, but it'll keep you alive longer. But against other certain decks, you just need Scolding, because they're going to try to Dweller Regeki you. They're going to try to just do ridiculous stuff. And you, like, even the point where I've had someone... I don't remember what it was, but like negating spells is what's really important. So like that's what really matters. Negating spells and negating normal summons is where this card really finds itself. And negating Strike. That's also pretty nice. But that's going to be it for this deck profile. I hope I explained some of the card choices. This is not how I'm actually going to play BA for next format, and if Dueling Book comes out, I'm going to try to get on top of Dueling Book with BA again. I'll see what I can do, but one thing I'll consider is, like, Gores. I don't know how well he's going to test again with Monarch out of the picture. Like, I don't know. Like, 1 Beatrice also, like, I don't know if I'm going to keep this or this, but I need to keep this and these, of course. The monster lineup seems pretty solid. Even this, which I was not too happy about in the beginning, but it just seems so solid in testing. Side deck, I'm probably going to take this out. I don't know about these, and I don't know about these. This has actually been pretty good. Everything else seems pretty solid. Like I said, I'm going to have to adapt to the format. This card sucks, but it's so good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching. This has been a longer video, and I'm sorry for that. I just wanted to go over how I played BA. Like, when I got top on DN, the BAs I were playing were just... They were... I guess this deck did so well, not because of the, like, how I played it. It was more like the card choices I chose. Like, people had to save their Fog Blades on what was originally an obvious play for a play they didn't expect. Like, when it was like Sky Scorch and Aurelis, they would have to save certain cards for certain situations they didn't know were coming. And, like, it's... Sometimes people would not Fog Blade my tour guide because they were scared of this card. That's actually ridiculous. Like, that was honestly a bad play, but like, I could summon Norellas, and I did have Norellas in hand, but honestly, you were better off fog blading Tour Guide because most of your stuff floated. But that's going to be all. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master DinnerFlax will take your soul.